Hey everyone, welcome to an unboxing video and a first installation video and a first impressions video of my new kayak. You might have seen on the channel I've been doing a bit of kayaking on the river recently and getting back into it as I hoped I would, and I've been itching for an upgrade to a newer model of kayak, a drop stitch model for those of you not familiar with kayak technology, inflatable kayak technology. Drop stitch is basically the chambers where the air goes. They have threads attached to the upper and lower parts of the chamber, which means that they are under tension when it's inflated, so it means that you can get much higher pressures into the chamber. It's basically what allows a stand-up paddleboard to work, or an inflatable stand-up paddleboard to work, and that technology is now finding its way onto inflatable kayaks. So the old kayak I had, which I sold, my old one from Decathlon, that was just a normal non-drop stitch kayak. Inflation pressure was about 1.5 psi. I believe this one is about 10 psi, which gives you an idea. This thing is going to be pretty much solid, like a solid kayak basically. So this is an unboxing video. I'm going to give it its first inflation just to make sure everything is okay, and just talk about my general first impressions. I bought this kayak with my own money. I bought it from a company called Bath Outdoors, who basically were very helpful with me, giving me advice, and they were quickest to respond to my messages. I messaged a couple of different companies who supply these kayaks, and Bath were the first people to get back to me, and since then their customer service has been extraordinary, so I highly recommend Bath Outdoors. They're also going to sort me out with an upgraded paddle and a new personal flotation device, because my one is a bit old, and actually it's for a heavy person, and since I've lost a bit of weight it's maybe a bit too much for me. So I went for, I spent like the last 2 weeks researching what kayak to get, and I was flipping and flopping between another Decathlon kayak, but a drop stitch kayak, and this one, and I decided to go with this one because it seems like a bit more, the one from Decathlon seemed a bit more extreme in terms of what it can handle, and the actual user probably needs to be a bit more experienced, whereas this one seems to be somewhere between the one I had sold, which was very user friendly and very stable, and the new Decathlon one. So this one is from a company called Sandbanks. They make stand-up paddleboards. You may have heard them if you stand-up paddleboards. They're pretty big in stand-up paddleboards. Stand-up paddleboards. They're a British company, which is pretty good. They're based in Poole, I think. I could have bought it directly from them. And I did message them to talk to them about whether it was the right kayak for me, but they were quite slow responding, so I ended up buying it through Bath Outdoors, and actually the price was the same, so it didn't matter to me. I paid about £750 for it, £749 I think it was, from Bath Outdoors, free delivery, Bath Outdoors, which is the same price as it would have been direct from the manufacturer, and actually it came direct from the manufacturer. It was sent direct, Bath Outdoors didn't have it in stock, they just ordered it from the manufacturer on my behalf, so it made no difference really. There was a choice of two colours. There was a blue and white one and a turquoise one. I decided to go for the turquoise one just because it looked a bit different, and it might stand out a bit against the blue of the water. Not that much of the water I'll be going on is blue. Anyway, let's get on with unpacking it, and I'll tell you a bit more about the kayak. So there is a box within a box. Okay. So this bag is the best of both worlds as far as I can tell, in that it is a rucksack. It does have rucksack straps, but it also has wheels on the bottom, which none of the other ones do. I think it's like a standard bag that you get with Sandbanks style stuff, so that if you buy a paddleboard you probably get a similar bag, maybe a different size. Don't quote me on that. But it's a nice bag. It's got a nice storage pocket for other things, and the zip isn't fantastic. It's an oversized bag, or it should be, so that you can put additional bits and pieces in it. You know, you can put the paddle in it, and it comes with like a split 4 paddle and the pump and things like that. So let's just put that to one side for now. So what else have we got? So in here, I believe, is a puncture repair kit. So you've got a valve removal tool if you need to replace the valve, some glue, and I'd say 2 patches. One, can't actually get I need somebody with small hands to get. Oh, there we go. And I guess it's this gives you an idea of what colour this thing's going to be. So it's got 1 turquoise and 1 grey patch. So those are the 2 main colours on the kayak. So yeah, so that's pretty good that it comes with some glue. Quite a lot of reviews of other kayaks I've seen, you know, you get the repair kit, but you don't get any glue, so you have to buy the glue separately. So that's good that it comes with some glue. So here we've got the paddle. So this is a 4-piece paddle. It's all plastic. My paddle for my decathlon model, my decathlon kayak, were decathlon paddles, and they, please excuse the cat charging around. They had aluminium shaft, is that the right word? And plastic paddles, and the aluminium shafts gave me quite bad blisters. I mean, I had to wear gloves. Actually, it looks like these are aluminium as well. Oh no, it is plastic. So I had to wear gloves, otherwise I got really bad blisters. Hopefully these are, I mean, I'll still probably wear gloves, but hopefully these are a bit more comfortable. If not, then the one that Bath Outdoors have recommended has a carbon shaft, which is meant to be, you know, the best you can do. It also has feathering on the paddle, which is quite useful, especially in windy conditions. So you can angle the blades. So yeah, so I think the main issue was there was too much flex on these paddles, but I don't feel like it's too bad. Yeah, there's not a lot of feathering on the blade. I also don't know which way it should be. I think it's that way. They do have drip rings on them, which my old paddle didn't. It was just a very cheap decathlon one, didn't have drip rings, so it meant I was getting a lot of water in the boat. Basically, as you paddle and lift the paddle up, you get water running down the shaft, and it will drip inside the boat. This is meant to prevent that. So it'll be interesting to see if that works. Never used a paddle with one before, but it'd be nice not to get drip. Put that to one side as well. Okay, let's get to unrolling this thing and inflating the thing. With a fairly simple strap to keep it nice and tidy. Put that on there. So it doesn't come with an instruction manual, so I just had a quick look online to see if there's one online or an instruction video, and sure enough there is an instruction manual online. It's not easy to find on the website, so Sandbanks style, if you're watching this, maybe actually have a link to it from the product page rather than just on the main page. But yeah, actually it's quite simple. Doesn't matter what order you inflate things. With my old kayak you had to do the floor first and then the side chambers, whereas this it doesn't matter. It's recommended to be 10 psi. So let's get on with it. So we'll do the floor first. So unscrew the valve cover, the valve cap. And if it's pressed in, it means the valve is open and air can escape, so you definitely don't want to be pumping it up with it pressed in. So you want to make sure it's sticking out essentially. So the pump has an inflate and a deflate side, so that's the deflate side, that's the inflate side. So we'll make sure we're on the inflate side. It also has double or single action, so make sure it's on double action, otherwise the single action will go slow. And away we go. Nice smooth action on the pump anyway. I do find these ones where the deflate valve is on the opposite side, it tends to suck my t-shirt in. Around my tent pump does it as well. That's 10. Okay, now we've got it inflated, let's go and take a closer look at some of the features of this vessel. So one of its features that I liked that attracted me to this is it's got a pretty sharp nose cone for cutting through the water, which might be nice paddling through waves or upstream in the river. It's got a front carry handle with the Sandbanks logo on. And when I was talking about luggage space, it has these strap down areas on the front where you can put a dry bag. I've got a couple of dry bags to use, so I can use those. It's fairly neat. It's got a bit of a seam there, which isn't particularly pretty, but it's not too bad. It's got a little bit of a crinkle here, which I think will straighten out. I think that's just where it's been in the bag. You see that? Where it's been in the bag. Hopefully that'll straighten out. So the valves are these things here. They've got a string attached that stretches the cap to the boat, which is handy, but it does kind of get in the way when you try to screw the valve cap back in. It's got a drain hole behind the rear seat. Behind the seat. Yeah, the good thing about these inflatables is they sit very high on the water, so if you get any water in them, you can just open the drain hole and the water will drain out without letting basically any more in. That's quite handy. It's got D-rings for attaching the seat to. There is probably a little bit of storage under the front and rear where you won't be able to get much, but you might be able to get a little 10-litre dry bag, something like that, with some sandwiches in or something. Another lash down area on the rear with this bungee cord, and finally another carry handle at the rear. It's got a similar pointed nose at the rear, a pointed rear, not a nose obviously. Similar pointed nose at the rear. It's pretty light. I guess the problem with it is it's a single seater kayak, but the carry handles are at front and rear, which suggests you're going to have two people carrying it, which is not going to be the case for me. So, I mean, the obvious solution to that is to have grab handles on the side, but I figure they will probably get in the way of the paddles. But it might be that I can just sort of hook my hand under here and carry it. I probably think I could actually just put my hand under the lip and carry it like that, so that'll be alright. Let's try and put the seat in and see what the seat looks like when it's in. So these lower ones attached to the rear, these kind of dog leash style clips. I don't know exactly where I want my seat yet, but it seems to be quite easy to adjust, which was not the case on my old one. And then these ones attached down here. I don't want any clutter or cat. Perfect timing. So the seat's in. Don't know if I got it in the right position. I'm going to try sitting it in a minute. Looks like there's another thing I didn't realise, there's a bit of a bag on the back of the seat for some stuff. It's not a dry bag, but it'd be useful for carrying stuff that don't mind if it gets wet, like perishables, maybe a drink or whatever. That's alright. One thing I'd say about this kayak is it's a I think it's a two-sponson, well, I think the technical term is sponson. I think it's a two-sponson boat, which basically means it's got two separate inflatable chambers. Now, one of the lakes I used to go kayaking on would let you take your own boats, inflatable boats, but they insisted that they had to be three-sponson. I guess for, you know, backup, I guess, if you lost one, you'd at least have two more and you'd be able to get back to shore. So I don't know how that's going to work if other lakes are the same. The only thing I'd say is that it's basically made out of the same technology as stand-up paddleboards, and the same lake that I used to go to also had stand-up paddleboards, and you're allowed to take your own, and they are not three chambers or three sponsons. So I don't know if that's an argument they can potentially win, but we'll see. But I'm intending to use this mostly in the river and on the sea. I'm going away camping in a couple of weeks down on the south coast, and I tend to try and take it out on the sea, but I'm also going to try and take it out on the river. And if the weather holds out this week, I'm probably going to take it out this weekend, if not before. So I will let you know what I think of it. But in the meantime, I'm pretty impressed. It certainly looks the part. I'm pretty happy with how it looks. It looks like a solid canoe. It looks like a solid kayak. You wouldn't know it was an inflatable, I don't think, unless you're an inflatable aficionado like so many people are. But it looks pretty nice. Hopefully it's nice and stable. I'm going to try sitting in it, so this video will probably end with some video of me sitting in this kayak. Looks alright to me. Seems to be quite a hard floor on the old boat. Maybe a bit of extra foam padding. Leg room is okay, but it's actually quite nice to be able to put somewhere to put my feet against. be able to reach the front and some more of my gut and reach behind. Yeah, I'm pretty happy with it.